And there's often surprising things that come out of that. So for instance, something that I learned is even if you're both from outside of the Netherlands and you have children here, until you have an agreement, neither those kids are staying here in the Netherlands.
Yes.
That that
Yep.
is that is such a surprising, and often it catches people off guard if they're not from here. The kids are here until you guys work it out. And
Absolutely.
I find that both terrifying and comforting, right? As someone who's not from here and my partner's not from here, you always think, oh, I can go back. No,
No,
that's not how it
you
works.
can't. No, and to be honest, for me as a lawyer, it's extremely frustrating as well. I do think that there's a difference between, let's say, mixed marriages where you're married to a Dutchman or a Dutch woman and decided to live here because it's one of your home countries, and the what I call them real expats, the people who came here just for 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. And especially for that second group, for me, it's extremely frustrating to have to tell them, I'm sorry, you can't go back, even though it was never your intention to stay here in the long run. We can petition the court for substitute permission to be able to go back to your home country, but often that petition is denied because the courts are afraid that the bond between the children and the left behind parents will be damaged because of the big distance between the parents and the children. And that means that someone who doesn't want to live here has to live here.
Yeah. And or I mean, they can technically leave, their children just can't. Yeah. And so that's I was shocked when I learned this through a friend who was getting divorced. They were both American, and their children they're here. They could neither one of them could leave it unless they wanted to leave the children. It's also oddly comforting, honestly, because then this child first mentality. I have 3 children myself, but like it's both terrifying and comforting. I have to say, as someone, because it really forces you to make that decision as a couple. Like it's the state against, it kind of gives you a bad guy.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
which is
that's
true.
interesting.
Yeah.
So when the other thing that I've seen happen is there is some things that as an international, you aren't always able to fall back on the Dutch case law or Dutch things. So sometimes it does default to your home country, the jurisdiction of things like maybe stocks or inheritance. These things don't always fall under what you think would be 50-50 or things like this that would, if it's two people who live in this country, there's a set of rules that are pretty cut and dry. But in international divisions of property and assets, sometimes there's complication. Do I have that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And especially if we're in a divorce case where the property laws of your home country could determine how you have to divide your property. And let's say, for instance, as an example, the UK, they have an equity division. They say that means we're not necessarily going to divide everything 50-50, but we're going to look at what is fair and reasonable. And in most cases, that means a lump sum payment for both equity and future income. So just a one-off payment and then it's done. The clean break principle. Whereas in Holland, we say we're going to divide the property 50-50 because that was until today what you built up together. And going forward, we're going to divide future income by way of spousal support. If those two coincide, that could make things quite difficult because then we're looking at the clean break from the UK perspective plus spousal support going forward. And yeah, it's a good question whether that's fair or not.
Yeah. And so is it wise, because it could be that one partner could really benefit from this combination and the other really doesn't. And so then that's where there might be a massive disagreement that has to go to court. And that in a Dutch court would be just argued by lawyers at this point. Is that
By
right?
lawyers, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
that's right, yeah.
previous case law and all this stuff. And so you're kind of at the mercy of that, which is, again, where I'm from, pretty normal for normal divorces. So is it wise maybe to research or maybe talk to a lawyer in each country, your home country and here, to determine where you want to
Yes,
file?
yes, and that's usually my advice to international clients, to reach out to a lawyer in your home country to find out, first of all, whether you can get divorced in that country and what the consequences would be of that divorce over there, so that we can put that advice and my advice next to each other and see what is not only most beneficial, but also most practical and logical. Often we say, well, do the divorce here because the children are here, alimony is here, and the division of assets. Well, we can obtain advice on how to do that from that other country, and then we can settle everything over here. Also, because compared to some other countries, the Dutch lawyers are less expensive. Yes, we still charge a lot. I know. I'm sorry. But I know that in some other countries, the fees are much, much higher.
Okay, that's this week's clip for our summer special. If you're new here or you've joined us recently and missed some of these earlier conversations, this series is for you. We're taking a little break from recording new episodes, but there are certain moments from past episodes we really wanted to share while we're away. If today's episode resonated, you can find the link to the full original episode and all related resources in the show notes below. Thanks so much for being here and letting House of Peregrine be part of your summer, no matter where in the world you're listening from.